Hi, Professor. Today I'm talking about financial risk management system and LIANGQING. And first, what is the financial risk management system? Financial risk management system is the practice of identifying, measure, and control risk exposure in a financial institution by using qualitative and quantitative methods, particularly on the market risk, credit risk, and operational risk and liquidity risk. In the conceptual design, uh, I might talk about the need identification, feasible analysis, operational requirements. In the need identification, uh, in the banking sector worldwide, the Basel cross are generally adopted by international active banks for tracking, reporting, and exposing operational risk and market risks. The Basel acts the bank have a dependent and integrated financial risk management system. For the physical analysis, the main purpose of the bank regulation is to ensure that a bank keeps enough capital for the risk it takes. It's not possible to eliminate all the possible of a bank failing, but governments want to make the possible of the default for all given bank was so small. By doing this, they hope to create a stable economic environment and provide individuals and business have confidence in the bank system. For the operational requirements, when talk about mission definition, operational deployment, operational life cycle, utilization, requirement, and the support and maintenance. In mission definition, our main purpose is to design a sound and developing financial risk management system to guarantee the bank to minimize the control the exposure of investment to such risks like the market risks, credit risks, operational risks, and liquidity risks. Secondly, we need to match the Basel across requirements. For the operational deployment, we think about three, the most important part of the financial risk management. The board presents total bank risk upside. The senior financial risk manager, we call CRO, established the framework and rules of total bank based on the risk appetites. The business line operates the risk management based on the rules established by the CRO. And then we come to the operational life cycle. It's amazing. The new there are three generations of Basel cross, and the third one is just come in 2010 and extending to 2019. So after that, we have to renew the financial risk management system to match the new Basel Accord. To the utilization requirement, a major concern of bank is that uh, the bank have to face the risks, but the bank is also chase the profits. So it have to get balance between the risks and the profits. This the requirement. And to the support and maintenance, the monitor system guaranteeing the accuracy of the data and models. And we also need a technology support system to guarantee the software system and the database safety and stability. Then we step into the preliminary design. In the risk selection, we talking about the for selection of the risks. In the market risks, for example, if you buy a stock of the Apple in $1 today, and then uh, you find your stock is down to the $90 tomorrow, and you lose $10. This was the market risk, and credit risk is like what you borrow 1 million to another's or another companies, then they cannot afford. Uh, they cannot refund the money back, or they delay to repay the money back, or even they prepay the money back. They also the credit risk is from the competitor of your market, and for the operational risks, it's including model risk, people risk, and the legal risk. In the people risk, is including the interior people risks and exterior uh, people risks. And the last one is liquidity risk. Although it's not the famous one, but uh, you know the Lehman Brothers, yeah, it's broken down because of the liquidity risk. Financial risk management process. We have my first step to manage the risk. Step one is identify the risk, and step two is risk section. In this section, we have risk assessment. In this section, we have to analyze the risk and evaluate the risk. This is the most important in the financial risk management. And step three is the risk treatment. When you have evaluation the risk, then you have to choose how do you face them, how do you treat them. So you have four choices for the risk avoidance, risk transfer, or risk reduction, and risk retention. If you don't like it, you can transfer to another counterpart in the market. And the last one is the risk monitoring. In the financial risk management, monitoring is important to every day, every time, every lines. The responsible of risk managers, we might talk about the roles for the most important one in the financial risk manager. The role of the board of the director, he set risk management policies and risk upside and strategy. He also need to read periodic risk management reports, interior financial statement disclosures, and audit reports. Let's differ. There's one. The periodic risk management report is from the CRO, and audit report is from the audit's interior, and the financial statement disclosure is from some grading company like Moody. Is from them, and he also need to pay attention to the interior controls for the management, and also to pay attention to the practice for the industry and the competitors. The CFO is the leader of the interior risk management. He set the risk management framework, and he set the policies based on the upside set by the board. He set some indicators for the business lines to have a rule to make a decision when they face the risk, and they get a report to the and the CRO write a report to the board to report what how about the financial risk management of the bank or the total bank, total economic, yeah. And he need to allocate the economic capital to every line, every business line, to make sure they have the budget, risk budget to to deal in their deal. He need to communicate with the board. Also, he need to communicate with the head of the business line. He support all lines of the financial risk management. The audit is an independent department of the financial risk management. He is led by only by board. He makes sure the risk management policies are executed, and he write the periodic reports to the board and the CRO. And for the in the report, we are talking about two main important model and model performance measurements. The two important capital market line model is the two important model is capital market line model and the security market line model. What's different between them? The capital market line model, you can see the sigma means the model of the risk of the model. So the expected return of the products is based on the total risk from the market. But in SML, the beta, which means the system risk, it means the products is diversified by the managers, and it only has the system risks, which cannot be default or transferred to others. And that's the risk the bank have to face, and which also means the profit of the bank. And there are 5 models for managers: the Sharpe ratio, Turner ratio, signal ratio, information ratio, and Jackson alpha. And the Sharpe ratio is used in the total risk, and the Turner ratio is to measure just in the system risk, which means the portfolio is well diversified. And then at last we talk about detail. What's the financial risk manager work? The risk component of the board should do approve the market risk tolerance every year, approve market risk tolerance, stress and performance limits each year, review business units, maintenance and new business initiatives like that, and delegated authority to the CRO, and holds additional authority in reverse approved by risk committee of the board, and CRO delegated authority to the head of the business. And audit, he can monitor all the financial risk management. It's dependent, and it just report to the board and the CRO. And last, we are talking about a specific of the financial risk management. We're talking from 3 parts: risk plan, risk budget, and risk monitors. And the risk budget is my talking about, and that's the day work of the financial risk manager, like the airlines. Thank you.